Hi Reddit. I'm Brian. I'm 31, and I'm not the kind of guy who ever thought I'd be writing something like this. I don't overshare, I don't post my life online, and I sure as hell don't air out personal drama to strangers. But after what went down, I think I kind of need to. For me, it all started on what should have been the best night of my life. I'm talking perfect setup. Rooftop restaurant in downtown Denver, soft jazz playing in the background, sunset view. The exact ring she once said she liked in a dumb Instagram reel months ago. I even booked a private table, tipped the waiter to keep people away, dressed up like a damn Hallmark movie character. Why? Because I was going to propose to Lexi. We'd been together 4 years. Lived together for 2. I paid most of the rent, helped her through 2 job losses, and even adopted her dumb cat after it scratched the hell out of my couch. Lexi was loud, dramatic, impulsive, but I loved her. Genuinely. Or at least I thought I did. So I'm sitting there, palms sweaty, stomach doing backflips, watching her scroll through her phone, smirking like she's half there. I give the waiter a nod. He brings out the dessert with the ring inside. Lexi sees it, raises an eyebrow. I get down on one knee. Cue the dream moment, right? Nah. What happened next felt like a damn prank show. She laughed. Not nervous laughter. Not surprised laughter. I mean full-on cackling like she was watching stand-up comedy. And then she said, loud enough for the whole rooftop to hear, "Dude, are you for real right now?" I blinked. I thought maybe she was shocked, that she'd start crying or something. So I kept the ring box open. But she pulled out her phone and said, "Yo, Katie, get this on camera." Her best friend popped out from behind a plant with her phone pointed straight at us. Brian just proposed, and he thinks this is real. Oh my God, this is gold. I stood there like an idiot, still kneeling, heart pounding, while strangers looked on, unsure if it was a skit or some awkward public stunt. And then Lexi leaned in and said, "You're cute, but I can't marry a guy who thinks GameStop stock is an investment strategy. Be serious." I slowly stood up, closed the box, didn't say a word, just walked out of there like I was in a daze. Got into my truck, parked 2 blocks down, and just sat. Sat in silence. Heart numb. Mind blank. I must have stared at the steering wheel for 20 minutes before I even turned the key. And the worst part? Not the public humiliation. Not the video, which, yes, went viral on TikTok the next day under hashtag #RooftopReject. No, the worst part was that I wasn't even surprised. Deep down, I knew. I'd seen the signs. The jokes about how she'd never settle down. The little digs about my job. The way she'd light up when guys in suits flirted with her in bars and say, "Relax, it's harmless." But I ignored it, because love makes you stupid, and I was King dumb. When I got back to our apartment, I didn't even go inside. I slept in my truck, woke up the next morning, grabbed coffee, and waited in the parking lot till I knew she left for her hot yoga class. Then I went in, packed a duffel, grabbed my laptop, passport, and left. Didn't even take my PS5. I stayed at my buddy Nate's place for a week. He offered to slash her tires. I said no, barely spoke, just worked, zoned out, and scrolled Reddit like a zombie. On day 4, she texted, "So dramatic. You could have at least said goodbye." I blocked her. That's when the real fun started. Venmo request. $112 for emotional damages and Uber rides. Blocked. New Instagram burner account. "You're embarrassing yourself. Just laugh it off like a grown-up." Blocked. Another number. "You seriously need therapy. Not everything is a breakup song." Also blocked. But Reddit? Reddit became therapy. I read stories of people who got played worse than me. Of folks who bounced back. Rebuilt. Got revenge, sometimes in brutal ways. And I started thinking, maybe I wasn't done. A week later, I moved into a crappy studio. Landlord smelled like beef jerky and sadness. Walls were paper thin. I didn't care. It was mine. I dove into work. I'm a freelance software guy, boring stuff, APIs and backend dev, but I'm good at it. Real good. And I've been sitting on a side project for months. A finance app that tracks micro expenses in a slick, gamified way. Think Mint meets Candy Crush. I started working on it like a madman. While she posted thirst traps and healing journey quotes, I coded till 2 a.m. While people call me proposal guy on Reddit, I built the beta, and when the app hit product hunt, it blew up. I got hundreds of signups. Investors DM'd me. And Lexi? She texted again. From her mom's phone. "Can we talk?" I didn't answer, because this wasn't over. Not by a long shot. I ignored her text, the one from her mom's phone. I wasn't about to open that door again. I knew what was behind it. Gaslighting, fake tears, and another round of Brian, you're just too sensitive. Screw that. Instead, I focused on what mattered, building my app, staying locked in, and proving to myself I wasn't some pathetic guy kneeling on a rooftop while his girlfriend laughed at him. But life? Life has a twisted sense of humor. About a month after launching the beta, I got invited to a tech startup networking event in Denver. It was mostly just code bros and VC guys flexing over kombucha, but I figured what the hell. Free snacks, maybe meet someone cool, maybe pitch my app. Couldn't hurt. I show up, grab a beer, and within 20 minutes, I'm talking to this dude named Kyle who runs a mid-sized VC fund. Chill guy. Hoodie, jeans, not a D-bag. He's genuinely interested in the app, asks smart questions, and gives me his card. We talk scalability, integrations, all that nerd stuff. And then he goes, "Hey, you should meet one of our new interns. She's around here somewhere. Lexi or something, wait." I must have blinked like 10 times. My throat went dry. "Lexi M?" I asked, playing dumb. "Yeah, blonde, louda, intense. You know her?" I laughed. Loudly. A little too loudly. "Yeah," I said. "We used to date." He choked on his drink. No king way. I didn't give him the whole story. Just enough for him to go, dude. Yikes. I didn't see her that night. Maybe she dipped early. Maybe the universe was buying me time. But now I knew where she was working. And suddenly, I had options. Was I petty for what came next? Yeah, 100%. But did I feel bad about it? Not even slightly. I went home and built a separate landing page for the app. One that looked like the real deal, but was just a shell. It had her favorite pastel colors, her exact fonts. Stuff she always said looked more feminine and startup-y. I made it extra pretty. I called it frugalish. Then I anonymously submitted it to her team's internal innovation contest. 3 days later, Kyle emails me. "Hey man, weird question. Did you submit something to our pitch portal under the name Frugalish? Looks like your code base." I replied, "Nope, but I'd love to know more." Turns out she pitched my app as her own. Not even modified. Just copy-pasted my code, changed the name, added her stupid cat as the mascot, and tried to act like she built it from scratch. My jaw hit the floor. Lexi, in true Lexi fashion, had stolen my idea and tried to sell it to the exact people who already knew it was mine. Bold? Yes. Smart? Not even a little. I didn't respond right away. I waited. I let her squirm. Sure enough, 2 days later, she called me. I don't know why I picked up. Curiosity, maybe. Or maybe I just wanted to hear the panic in her voice. "Brian. Hi. Okay, listen. This isn't what it looks like." I hung up. 30 seconds later, she called again. "Don't do this. Please." I didn't mean to steal anything. It was a misunderstanding. Click. Third time's the charm. I let her talk. She spiraled. Said her team was asking questions. That Kyle was being weird. That I was blowing this out of proportion. That's when I finally spoke. "You laughed in my face. You humiliated me in front of a restaurant full of people. And now you want me to help you." She was quiet. Then she said something that almost made me laugh again. "It wasn't that serious." I swear, my brain short-circuited. Wasn't that serious? My proposal. My app. My name. Not that serious. I didn't yell. Didn't curse. Just said, "I hope your new job has a good severance package." And I hung up. That was the last time we spoke. 2 weeks later, I got a text from Kyle. "She's gone. Fired. Not even a reference." I didn't respond. Just smiled and closed my laptop. After that, things moved fast. The app blew up. Real investors came on board. I got a small team, launched the paid version, and went viral on LinkedIn for some dumb thread about resilience after failure. Whatever. I just liked the paycheck. But Lexi? I heard she tried to start a podcast. Something about toxic men and personal growth. It had 3 episodes, all with the same glitchy intro and wine-fueled rambling. Last I checked, she was back at her mom's place, posting filtered selfies and captions like, "Sometimes rejection is redirection." Yeah, okay, but here's the truth, Reddit. It wasn't about revenge. Not really. It was about taking all the stuff she tried to use against me, my job, my focus, my quiet ambition, and turning it into a win. A big one. I never got my proposal moment, but I did get peace. And that's worth more than any rooftop ring could have been. I wasn't expecting to see her again. Not after she got fired. Not after she tried to steal my app and pass it off like it was her bright little idea. That should have been the end of the chapter, right? But when you try to bury someone alive, don't be surprised when they crawl out with teeth. A month later, I walk into my favorite coffee spot, the one around the corner from my new apartment, and boom, there she is. Lexi. Same bleach blonde waves, same oversized sunglasses like she's dodging paparazzi. Sitting at the table across from some smug-looking guy in a Patagonia vest. I froze mid-step like my brain needed a reboot. She hadn't seen me yet, and I should have just walked out. But I didn't, because guess who the smug guy was? Kyle. The same Kyle who called me after firing her. The same one who congratulated me on the app launch and bought a small stake in the company. Yeah, that Kyle. And they were laughing. I grabbed my drink and sat 2 tables down, headphones in, but no music playing. I want to know if I was just being paranoid or if something shady was going on again. I'm telling you, she said, twirling her straw. He's not that smart. He just got lucky. Kyle laughed. Still can't believe he iced you out like that. Oh, please, she rolled her eyes. I built most of that app. He just slapped his name on it. Now he's walking around like he's Steve Jobs. I nearly crushed my cup. That app. I coded it from scratch in a studio apartment, sleeping 4 hours a night, living off peanut butter sandwiches and stale coffee. She hadn't touched a single line of code. All she'd ever done was complain about how much time I spent building it. Now, she was trying to rewrite the story. I got up and walked out. Not because I was scared, but because I knew the old me, the one that would have tried to reason with her, to explain, to defend myself. That guy was long gone. The new me? He had a plan. Step 1 was simple. Get Lexi to reveal her hand. I needed to know what she was really after. I knew she couldn't let it go. That type of narcissist never does. They always want to win, even if it means sinking with the ship. So I posted a fake job listing under a shell company, one that looked like a hot new startup based out of Austin. Marketing manager, remote friendly, equity potential, fast growth. Lexi applied within 3 hours. Her resume was a masterpiece of BS. Product strategist at Frugalish, built proprietary platform, managed launch pipeline. I damn near choked on my Red Bull. Step 2, bring in someone to bait her. I called up my friend Jamie. She's a real-life marketing manager at a legit company, and she owed me for helping her move last fall. I asked her to do a Zoom interview, act super interested, and ask Lexi for samples of her original work. Lexi sent in my app wireframes. Not inspired by, not based on, literally mine, the exact Figma designs I had buried deep in my private drive. I knew because I'd left a tiny watermark in the bottom right corner, just 2 pixels tall, a signature most people would miss unless they knew where to look. She didn't even crop it out. Jamie played along perfectly, asked if Lexi would be open to demoing the original product in a future meeting. Lexi said yes, as long as we have NDAs in place. Classic Lexi move. Steal your stuff and then try to gatekeep it like it's hers. Step 3, the receipts. I compiled every email, every Slack message, every Dropbox timestamp from back when we were together. Then I sent it all to Kyle, with a subject line that said, just in case you were still buying the Lexi show. He didn't reply. But a few days later, Lexi posted one of those cryptic Instagram stories. Some people are just bitter because they peaked in high school. Cool. But the best part? Later that week, I got an invite to speak on a panel. Founders under 30. Big event. Lots of tech brothers, free snacks again. I almost passed, but then I saw the speaker list. Kyle was on it too. Oh, it was on. I showed up with a fresh cut, black button down, and more calm than I thought I had in me. We didn't talk before the panel, just a nod. But during the Q&A, someone in the audience asked about ethics in startups, copycats, idea theft, that sort of thing. Kyle looked at me. Brian, he said, you've had experience with this. Want to weigh in? I didn't flinch. I think there's a difference between being inspired by something and flat out stealing it, I said. One of the biggest mistakes I made early on was trusting the wrong person with access. But I also think karma has a long memory. The room got quiet. Kyle nodded slowly. After the panel, A line of people came up to shake my hand. Investors, developers, even students. One guy said, "Man, your story made me drop a toxic co-founder last month." Cool. I didn't need Lexi to look stupid. She did that all on her own. That night, it got a DM from her. "Hope the clout was worth it. You'll always be small, Brian. That's why I left you." I didn't reply, because she didn't leave me. She lost me, and everything that came with it. I should have seen it coming. I was finally breathing again. The app was growing fast, like screenshot your dashboard just to believe it fast. Downloads spiked after the panel. We got picked up by 2 VC blogs, and Kyle, despite his earlier lapse in judgment, wired in a 6-figure investment. For the first time in my life, I wasn't scraping by. I wasn't chasing anyone. I was just building. And then, right when you think the past is dead and buried, someone hands you a shovel. Her name was Whitney. She emailed me out of nowhere with the subject line, "Urgent. Lexi lied to me too." At first, I thought it was spam or a burner. But when I clicked in, there was a full message. Paragraphs, receipts, screenshots, a Google Drive folder. Turns out Whitney was Lexi's old roommate. The one I only met once because Lexi claimed she moved out after stealing from her. That was a lie. According to Whitney, Lexi hadn't just tried to steal my work. She'd been doing it to people for years, plagiarizing, faking references, even taking credit for a startup pitch Whitney developed in college. And now, Whitney was coming forward because Lexi had finally burned her last bridge. She tried applying to the same job Whitney had just landed, claiming they worked together on a product Whitney had made entirely alone. Same pattern, same fake files, same stolen visuals. The only difference was Whitney was done being silent. "I heard what she did to you," she wrote. "If you're planning anything, I want in." At first, I wasn't. Honestly, I'd already buried her. My name was clean, my company was growing, and Lexi's reputation was shredded enough. But then I found out about the podcast. Lexi had gone on some low-tier girl boss show and did a 45-minute episode called "How I Built My First Tech Product and Survived a Breakup." She name-dropped me. Again, called me emotionally unstable, said I had small man syndrome, and that she basically built the first version of the app while Brian cried over his ex. That's when I stopped being chill. That's when I decided she wasn't just a chapter in my past. She was the villain in my story, and I hadn't written the ending yet. So I called Whitney. We met for coffee, and together we built a timeline. Every stolen pitch, fake resume, backstab friend, and shady move Lexi ever pulled. Whitney even dug up an old clip from Lexi's college days where she won a pitch competition by presenting someone else's slides with the name cropped out. We packaged it all into a single PDF. 27 pages. We didn't send it out. Not yet. Instead, we leaked it to one place. A Reddit thread. Specifically, r/startups. We titled it, "What Happens When You Build with a Fraud and Why Receipts Matter." It was anonymous. No names, no direct tags. But the screenshots were real, the timelines were airtight, and people talked. Within 12 hours, it hit the front page. People started DMing me on LinkedIn, asking if I was the Brian from a post. I didn't answer. Didn't need to, because the truth doesn't need a spotlight. It just needs enough oxygen to burn. Lexi must have seen it within the day, because her Instagram went dark. Her Twitter account locked. She posted some vague story. "Wow, you'll really love to see a woman fall." Classic. But here's where things really cracked. Kyle called me. She reached out again, he said, voice flat. "Lexi." "Yeah." Said she's being cyberbullied and that you're behind it. She wants to meet up and clear the air. I laughed out loud. "Tell her to call her therapist." He snorted. "That's what I figured." The Reddit post ended up making the rounds on Medium, Twitter, and even TikTok. Some dude stitched the story and ranted about startup scammers ruining it for real builders. Overnight, Lexi's name became radioactive. People put 2 and 2 together fast. That podcast she'd done? It got flagged. The host removed the episode and issued a half apology, saying we should have fact-checked more carefully. She was erased in real time, and I should have felt satisfied. But something still gnawed at me. Because revenge is a high, a sweet one, but it's not peace. And late at night, when I finally shut my laptop, I had to sit with the fact that I had let someone like that into my life. Let her see my dreams, sleep in my bed, touch pieces of my soul I hadn't shown anyone else. And I kept asking myself one thing. How the hell did I not see it? Whitney said something that stuck with me. She mirrors people. That's how she survives. You saw your reflection in her, not her. That hit hard. I thought I loved her. But really? I loved what she pretended to be. The ride or die. The visionary. The we'll build this thing together mask. It was never real. And realizing that was the real revenge. Because she'll go through life never building a damn thing of her own. While I've got something that's mine. Built from scratch. With receipts. And now I'm about to make it even bigger. Lexi showed up at my apartment. Uninvited, obviously. It was a Thursday night. I just finished a pitch call with a brand looking to license our back-end tech, and I was unwinding with a beer when I heard the buzzer. I didn't even look through the camera. I just knew. I buzzed her in anyway. Why? I still don't know. Maybe part of me wanted to see how far she'd fallen. Maybe part of me needed to see her face when she realized I was no longer that broken guy she'd once manipulated. She looked wrecked, not dirty or disheveled, just hollow. The fire she always carried in her walk, her tone, her eyes gone. She was wearing this oversized hoodie, no makeup, voice trembling as she said, "Can we talk?" I let her in. I didn't say a word, just walked back to the kitchen and opened the fridge. "You want water?" She blinked. "That's it. You came to talk." "Talk." She hesitated, then said, "I know I messed up." I said nothing. I shouldn't have taken your work, or lied to Kyle, or gone on that podcast. Still nothing. She stepped closer, voice soft. "I was scared, Brian. I saw how good you were. I saw how fast you were moving, and I panicked. I thought if I wasn't the one leading the charge, you'd leave me behind." I finally looked at her. "You did get left behind, but not because you weren't fast enough. It's because you were fake." That hit her. She looked like she wanted to cry, but I knew her too well. Tears were a currency for her. She spent them when she thought they'd buy her something. She stepped closer. "Can we, I don't know, start over? Maybe work together again? I don't want it to end like this." I almost laughed. "You think this is about a clean ending?" I asked. "Lexi, this isn't a movie. You don't get closure just because you walk back into the third act." Silence. I didn't post the Reddit thread to ruin your life. That was just the byproduct. I posted it to warn others. Because you're a pattern. You'll do it again and again until someone stops you, or you hit a wall hard enough to change. She opened her mouth. "No," I cut her off. "You don't get to pivot now. You don't get to crawl back and play the misunderstood genius." Her voice cracked. "I loved you." "No, you love being me. There's a difference." I stood there, calm as hell, watching her try to process the fact that her usual tricks weren't working. She finally said, "So what? You hate me?" "I pity you," I said. "You had every opportunity to build something with me, but you chose ego over equity. You wanted control, not partnership. And now you're just another footnote in someone else's success story." She blinked, and for once, didn't have a snappy comeback. I walked to the door and opened it. "You know your way out." She stood there, frozen. Then slowly, she walked past me and out into the hallway. No drama, no screams, just a quiet exit, like the kind you make when you realize the spotlight's finally off and nobody's clapping anymore. I closed the door and exhaled. Not out of relief, out of release. That was the last time I saw her. In the months that followed, the app blew up. We landed a deal with a national retailer. Our valuation tripled. I brought on a new co-founder, a friend from college who actually knew how to collaborate without stealing. I moved into a new apartment, not to flex, just because I want a fresh view. One with light, one with space. Whitney and I stayed in touch. She's building her own company now, and we send each other pitch decks and roast bad investor emails. She's sharp as hell. I respect the grind. Lexi? Last I heard, she tried to start another venture under a different name. Didn't take long for people to piece it together. Once your receipts hit the internet, they don't go away. Here's what I learned. Some people love you for what you are, not who you are. They attach themselves to your shine because they're afraid to make their own. And when you stop being useful, they turn. Fast. But also, sometimes revenge isn't fire and fury. Sometimes it's just making it anyway. Without them. thriving in a way that makes their version of you obsolete. Lexi wanted me to crash and burn after she left. Instead, I built something stronger than both of us. And now, when people ask how the company started, I tell them the truth. I had this idea once. Someone tried to steal it, but I learned how to build alone. Because the punchline isn't that she failed. It's that I didn't need her to win.